Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. I'm Bill Smith. I'm Vice President of Cruise Sales with Virtuoso, and I'm coming live to you today from NOBU's in Los Angeles, California. I want to spend a little bit of time with NOBU. I want to talk a little bit about the individual, about the person, about the restaurateur, about his global expansion, and about what's got him to this point that he is, about his relationship between Virtuoso, about Crystal Cruises, and how his product has been so well received on board Crystal Cruises. And although you may have known him for his roles in movies such as Casinos and Memories of a Geisha, NOBU's honors and culinary community is vast. He has been voted the top 10 best places for sushi in the United States by Bon Appetit. His signature dish may be black miso cod, and I've had my share of it, but I tell you, there's a lot more things that he's known for. I want to give you some other quotes from various people in magazines, which I found right on target. Heaven on Earth, Sex on a Plate by Kate Winslet. NOBU is the world's hippest restaurant chain by Vogue magazine. And I love this one because this sums it up. You can tell how much fun a city is going to be if it has a NOBU restaurant in it by Madonna. Now we get to meet the individual himself, the icon himself. You know, it's kind of interesting about the icon because, you know, you hear of Sting, you hear of Cher, you hear of Madonna, you hear of NOBU, and that's the icon that you are. And so it's great. And I'm kind of interested, the people that we're talking today, some people may know you, some people have eaten in your restaurants. Some of our audience out there, probably this is their first experience to hear from, to meet the icon. And I know a lot of them are looking forward to cruising with Crystal and experience you on board the ship. And so I guess we just kind of want to talk about that.
Okay.
Years ago, how did you ever think that you would get to this point? What
You know, it's never dreamed like this, okay, because it's cooking all my life.
Mm-hmm.
I started this job since I was 18. Then I was a kid, it's a sushi chef was my dreams.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's a lot of kids like, you know, one day the baseball player, the basketball players,
Yeah.
but my dream was the chef.
Yeah.
So then start working. So after, you know, almost 40 years, I'm
Right.
here. You know,
Right.
still I love cooking. I like to see the customer smiling,
Right.
eating my food.
Right. But you've gone from starting out as a sushi chef in Tokyo, moving to Lima, moving to Argentina, then moving to Alaska, back to Tokyo, back to LA, and now around the world. I mean, that's huge that you've accomplished in just the last few years. Which one of those steps along the way would you consider your most significant step?
Well, I start sushi chefs I was 18.
Right.
So first 3 years, like a dishwashers, the deliveries, the bus boys, you know, it's like clean up the restaurant.
Right.
But after 6 years, went to the Peru. And like an open restaurant with a partnerships with me
Right.
and some Japanese Peruvian
Right.
in Lima. You know, a lot of experiences I have so far.
Mm-hmm.
So even like not only the good news, sometimes very bad news too, but bad experience too. But you know, people makes any like a success or like you know, more different way, or,
Right,
and
right.
maybe the experience
Right.
and support. It's like become to like you know, like I'm so happy right now.
Yeah.
But everything come from my experience.
Yeah. Along the way, I've eaten so many of your restaurants around the world, and it seems like that Peruvian influence was really significant in your life and as a chef, with the spices and. Did Lima play that big of a role?
Yeah. So this one is Lima, the first the Lima, Peru. You know, I studied the Japan's and like very traditional the Japanese cooking style, but it's example was sashimi.
Yeah.
In Japan just soy sauce and wasabi.
Right.
But the Lima, the Peru,
Yeah.
they have called a ceviche. It's cooked with lemon juice.
Right,
lemon,
right, right,
You know, and I never got the experience how like eat sashimi with lemon juice in Japan. But so this experience,
Yeah.
like I opened eye, like what's going on? You know, we can do like a more different way.
Right.
You know, again, this is experience. Now it's like my cooking style is more, it's a freedom.
Yeah.
Not only
Yeah,
traditional
right.
Japanese way. You know, South America use olive oil, to the chili, the cilantro, the
Right.
onions, but the Japan doesn't use much this one. But I have the Japanese technique and how to present, do like a beautiful presentation with the plate.
Right.
So then some touch for the Peruvian influence
Yeah.
and became the Nobu style of food.
Is that where the yellowtail with the jalapeno came in?
You know, this one is like,
That's my
this is
favorite.
like a coincidence.
That's my favorite.
And I was at Hawaii.
Yeah.
And a guest chef in the Maui, it's called some friends of mine, the restaurant. And I did 2 days for the guest chef. I cooked my dishes, couple dishes, but all the dinner, the finish, like all the people, like a stuck meal.
Right.
So something that a little bit left over for the yellowtail, and I sliced the fish, but I cannot find any like a wasabi anymore.
Yeah.
Went to fridge, find out the jalapeno. Okay, now slice yellowtail, slice jalapenos, and put on the piece. Then like a lemon juice and a little bit of soy. So
Yeah.
then it became this yellowtail jalapeno.
That's a great way that things like that just come up. Hey, there's one story that I love in your history when you were in Lima about the eel for your dog.
Okay.
That almost tells me that your wit and your humor, that came out in that story. You got to tell just a little bit of that story about the eel and the dog.
You know, it's Lima, Peru. It's like a fishermen going to the ocean, catch the ocean fish, and bring to the cities in like sell on the street.
Right.
I was there, find that like one piece is nice eel, and I asked the fishermen, "Oh, you have the eel," you know, and they said, "Of course, we can get them. It's like any time. Why don't you bring for me?"
But people didn't eat the eel.
Yeah, they don't eat, right? They don't eat. Now, what do you do this one? Oh, because I bring the dog from Japan. You know, my dog, it's eel eating every day in Japan. But I bring it here, but it cannot find eel. So my dog had a little bit of homesick. So fisherman said, "Oh, okay. I got you." So then next morning, went to the street for the fisherman. See, bunch of eel. Oh, wow. And how'd you get it? Oh, easy. Give it to the eel dog because fix homesick. Thank you. How much? No, it's okay. They give it. So, but my dog is eat lots of eel. So then he brings every day for give it to you.
Yeah.
You know.
But you were taking the eel and putting it in the restaurant. That is such a funny story. I love that. Questions. I've got some questions coming in from the people that are attending. I know your signature dish is black cod and miso, but what is your favorite meal to prepare and to eat?
Myself?
Yeah.
You know, I have so many different menus, and all my signature dishes I like. It depends, like, you know, we have the sashimi, and we have cooked fish, and we have the vegetables, like the chickens, the meat. You know, so many varieties Nobu's food.
Right.
So it depends what's my feel.
Yeah.
I love the sushi, and I love the sashimis.
Yeah.
And sometimes I like the noodles, you know, and depends on my feeling.
Yeah. Well, don't give up on the black miso cod.
Oh, no, it's like
Okay, another question. How do you find your employees at your restaurants? What is the role of a sous chef, specifically in your restaurants? Now, you got 29 restaurants around the world, 2 on ships. How do you find people, the quality that you expect?
You know, now we have the 29 chefs around the world in the 5 continents. And the first 2-3 restaurants was tough because, you know, tough means the training.
Right.
And I'm chef, I training the chef, and the sous chef is it's another young chef. So, but like the family, example, like, you know, we have the family, kids was little, then studied to school and grow up.
Right.
So now it's any new Nobu restaurant, somebody Nobu's experienced people there. It's like the family is growing and also restaurant growing, the kitchen is growing.
Right. I was in this week. I was in Budapest.
Oh yes.
And I ate in your great restaurant in the Kopinski Hotel. And my experience there was no different than if I'd been in Tokyo, if I had been in Los Angeles, if I'd been in London, if I'd been in Dubai. the consistency of the product and the service that comes from your restaurants and your employees is just fantastic, and it's amazing that you can keep that consistency.
Maybe I'm a lucky person, but even though you mentioned the Budapest, so like I sent to the, I training the chef in the Tokyo, so sushi chef,
Yeah.
just sent to the
To go-
Budapest like
yeah.
4 months ago.
Yeah.
And still he knows my philosophy, what's the quality of the food.
Yeah.
So then, we talked,
Right.
and something that find that the new dishes, so sent to him, that he does.
Yeah.
So always like a chef moving to like Budapest, the Moscows, Dubai, even the New York, London, And myself, I traveling the 10 months a year.
Yeah.
But all the chef, like we have the corporate chef, and the training go to the new restaurants.
Right.
This is like a families.
Right.
It's like a Nobu's families.
Yeah.
It's growing. Then they're going to there to train with new people.
Yeah. I think that's very significant about how hands-on you are. I think you leave the chefs and leave your restaurants and let people run them, but the fact that you're there so often, that makes them feel good, because I know this month, I think you were in Dubai, and you were in Budapest this month, and I have any idea where else you've been. Actually, I was in the restaurant in Mykonos. And,
The summertime.
just love that too, yeah. One more question.
Okay.
I have been on many Crystal cruises. A guest is asking this question. I've been on many Crystal cruises and love their itineraries. Do you have a favorite itinerary, a very favorite Crystal
It's
itinerary?
last year, June, end of the June, July, and I was a Mediterranean.
Right.
I bring the wife and the daughters and the granddaughters, and the friend.
Right.
And I love it's a Mediterranean cruise.
Uh-huh.
But if I have time, I like to see the South Pole, the North Pole. I like to see more world because, and always I travel in the plane. It's cruise line. It's especially the Crystal Cruise.
Yeah.
So we have the restaurant there. Peoples and the beautiful, it's cruise ships.
Yeah.
But I like to see more different world too.
Yeah, I love this restaurant. I love the excitement that you bring into the architecture of it. I love Matsuhisa down the street. So they're all just fantastic
Thank you.
restaurants. And so, where do you see Nobu going from here? I mean, how many more restaurants can you open?
I never approach from me to the opening of the new restaurant.
You don't go out and look for it.
Because, business-wise, and we open, then doing well, somebody approached us, opening even the Budapest, the Australia, the South Africa. So then I'm going to see the research, so what kind of cities, how we can get the product. So
Right.
then, my business partners talk to the deal.
Yeah.
So then one day deal closed, the opening restaurant.
Open restaurants.
So
yeah.
then always young chefs looking for the next opportunity.
Yeah.
They mentioned so next restaurants we open this is the next cities. So
Right.
sure, it's all the young chefs. Oh, chef, can I go there? Then and again the families used to be the line chef and sous chef and so one day he can get the chef the positions.
Yeah.
So that's why the restaurants still keep open, keep growing.
Yeah, okay. There's a book, one of my absolute favorite books. It's the Last Supper. The book, The Last Supper, where they picked the top 50 chefs, and there was the one quote when they were talking to the chefs about their last meal, what would they prepare, and what would the meal be, and who would they have it with. And I think your comment that who would you have a meal with, and you said your family.
Family.
That's the Nobu.
Well, the family is most important, and because I was born from my parents. Now I have a wife and I have the 2 kids.
Right.
I have 1 granddaughter.
Right.
I love and also my family that saved my life too. So why I so working hard because family.
Yeah.
Why I like to. I can keep the traveling because family.
Right.
But last 4 or 5 years, I traveled in the 10 months years, not enough to spend time with my family. Always, I like to do something with family. So I like to spend time to families more.
And I think back in those formative years when you were starting out and you were moving to Lima, to Argentina, back to Alaska, and your family was following you along, and I know from that there was a great story about some of the challenges that you had in doing it, but with your family was always there and always a part of that. And I think that's such a great story about you. Hey, Tony Neumeister.
Nice to see you guys.
Tony, how are you?
Thanks.
Good. Hey, let's talk a little bit more about NOBU and a little sake here, huh?
You know, first time I met Tony, and like about 20 years ago, right?
Nearly, yeah.
Yeah, 20 years ago, and they invite for the symphony. Harmony.
Crystal Harmony, yeah.
And I went to from cruise Australia to the New Zealand. So I was guest chef. Also, he was chef. And
He was a chef?
He was working the kitchen.
Now he's a corporate guy with a...
I'm still in the kitchen.
He's still in the kitchen.
You know, can I say like, okay, exactly the bill that you ask me questions why the Nobu is growing? Because used to be the chef, now he's come to the management. You know, best example, the Tony used to be the chef, executive chef.
Right.
Now he's like a more corporate, more the management of the company, right? So good people's working company, then always next step.
Right.
So maybe one day that he come from the president for the NYK or not.
It could be. I'm sure that it's easier also to communicate your concepts with somebody who has worked in a kitchen or in a galley or has been a chef before. So when you're talking about this, and that's probably one of the reasons I think it's been so successful with Crystal. You deal with somebody that...
And also the company is very comfortable because working the long time. He knows how to do, he know how to educate for the next people.
Yeah.
So that's why, people's working hard and working long times, understand that the company, the philosophy, sure, this company is growing for the next step.
So Tony, let me ask you a question. A lot of the guests that are participating in the event today and are listening in are anxious to learn more about NOBU and the restaurants, and they're probably asking themselves, okay, I've eaten in NOBU in New York City, I've eaten in NOBU in Miami or someplace. What's the difference that I can expect from eating in a NOBU on land and a NOBU at sea?
The quality of the product, what we deliver out there, and with the NOBU chefs, is definitely the same quality as in any of these restaurants worldwide.
Yeah.
That includes the service. Of course, we spend a lot of time on training all our staff members. So everything would be used from the basic soya sauce to the bonito flakes to the tuna is specified by NOBU and his chefs. But what we do is we're using his suppliers worldwide. When he has fish supply in London, so when we're in the Mediterranean, we use that fish supplier. But of course, most important is to deliver a consistent food product is you have to be professional trained chefs. And with Mr. Nakaguchi, who overseeing our 2 restaurants on our ships, he travels one ship from another and really checks the specifications all the time and trains new staff members. And in addition, on each ship we always have 2 Japanese chefs always trained by NOBU. So the product is, I can say, and even NOBU himself comes out, hopefully more in the future, to spend some time with your family.
I love that.
And also creating new recipes and also checks the product delivery.
Right. I think it's always been exciting from the Crystal side, and the NOBU side is, NOBU's in 29 different cities around the world, but you can be on a Crystal ship up the Amazon, and now all of a sudden there's a NOBU restaurant up the Amazon, or you can be in the Baltic, and now there's a NOBU restaurant in the Baltic. And for guests who participate or enjoy the world cruise is to be able to have that experience all the time. I think that's exciting. What do you see in the future?
I see it, with the development with NOBU and especially, he is so creative and
Right.
is always involving his food concepts and just like in this summer when you were out there and you created these new dishes from this little taco to the new recipe of black cod, what was for me it is amazing, and also the guests love to see different things in involvement when it comes to food. And also in what I see with with your food concept in general, because you are in so many different places in the world, you pick up a little bit of the culture and the food culture from the country included in your concept, and that is what makes it even more exciting.
Yeah, that's good. Hey, I have a couple of questions that have come in from some of the our guests that are participating. I am taking a Crystal cruise in about a month. Good for you. Good for you. Do I need to make a reservation in advance for a NOBU's restaurant?
Oh, you better do it.
Not much,
Or get at the door quick. So as when I come on the ship, do I need
All our guests can book it online.
book it online?
And
The
also
agents can go online
we can
and
book online and make a reservation, and the same they can do when they come on board directly with the restaurant manager or the butlers or
Yeah.
wherever. You know, it is it's very easy to make a reservation.
Right. So
To
it's
get
easy.
in is a different
Okay,
story.
okay. And this other question coming from one of our guests, this is probably somebody that's probably eaten in a NOBU restaurant someplace before, and they know
Many
it's kind of pricey. But is there an additional charge to eat at the restaurant on the ship?
Not at Crystal Cruises.
So there's no charge.
There's no charge.
So when I ate in New York and it cost me $500 when I walked out of it with a couple, it's not going to happen
You made $500.
to him. Yeah.
And in addition, now
And I had-
you also get a sake, including and the famous NOBU beer and or the Matsuhisa wines, and a great variety of other selection of wines from around the globe, including fine liquors and spirits.
Yeah.
Or
All of
included.
it's included in it. It's fantastic. And you have your own sake?
Sake, yeah.
Fantastic. Tony, any final comments about anything coming up with Crystal? Anything changes with the product? I know the renovations have been taking place. The ships are just absolutely stunning. Congratulations for the work that you've done on those.
Yeah, we spent overall over $100 million. The design and the modernization of all our staterooms, suites, or the public rooms, including restaurants. So actually, we walk up on the Crystal ship these days. It looks like a new vessel.
Well, I tell you, on behalf of Virtuoso, the advisors that are participating today, we thank you for the great product that you give us. We thank you for the
Thank you.
partnership
Thank you.
that we have with you. For the guests that have tuned in, one special thing that we have for you. At the end of this, we want to make sure that you registered with your advisor there. We're going to be having a drawing. We're going to give away 5 autographed NOBU cookbooks that we'll be sending to the advisor and to the clients. We want to thank you, hey, to the advisors out there. They continue to support this great product. And for the guests that are coming on Crystal anytime soon, you're going to have an incredible experience. Make sure you stop by the NOBU Silk Road restaurant, and I know you'll have a great time. So hey, thank you all very much. I hope you've had a great day. And at this point, I'm going to turn it back over to Pete in Seattle. Thank you very much. Thanks for joining us. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Always.
Thank you for your kind words. Thank you.
Thank you, Tony.
Thank you.
Thank you.